Welcome back to the Culture Shock, where we focus on personal development and self improvement. Okay, today we're going to talk about helping others become wise as well as ourselves in Proverbs 2, verse 2. It says, "Incline your ears to wisdom and apply your heart to understanding." In a commentary I was using, it says that this means to listen to people wiser than ourselves, maybe mentors. And the word was translated, understanding was translated to, well, the word is used knowledge. In Hebrew, understanding is knowledge. And it's something that you can pass on and not just keep to yourself. So, what this is saying is when someone that is wise, a mentor, a teacher, someone is talking to you, that you pick up their wisdom and you understand it, you live it, and you pass it on to other people. I'm known more for the frugal side. When people talk to me, sometimes they'll ask about my finances or if I can help them in finances. This was because I am doing okay in my finances. I'm not saying I'm wealthy, but I know about finances. People ask me about certain things in finances, and I try to help them the best I can. And I try to help people in every way I can, whether it's spiritual or physical fitness, the things that I know that I understand. But if I just learn this and only use it in my own life, then the information, when I'm no longer on this earth, will stay with only me. But if I teach it to other people, help other people, then they can in turn help other people as well. Whether it's to your kids or your friends, your family, your co-workers, try to give them the best knowledge that you have picked up from mentors, people wiser than yourself, and try to teach it to other people so that they can teach it to other people. That's the hope of making the world a better place. It's to help improve the world with what you have learned from other people. If you have kids, you understand that you're going to teach them, and hopefully that they live it in their lives, and someday when they have kids, that they will teach it to them, maybe even their friends. So that's what this scripture is talking about. Don't just keep it to yourselves, but to teach it to other people as well. Maybe you teach your kids how to clean, and they have friends that are messy. Maybe they can teach their friends how to be not messy. Maybe their parents are teaching them, but they're not picking it up. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes we learn better from our friends. It's just the way it's worded sometimes. Maybe their parents just yell at them, but your child teaches them in a way of understanding, out of love, not just yelling at them. So they just teach them in a different way. But so the point is that we must teach what we know to others if their ears are open. In one scripture, it says, open your ears to understanding, or open your ears to wisdom. So we must constantly be looking out and listening to wise people. Maybe that's here on YouTube. Maybe you watch some financial channels and one of them catches your ear and you learn how to budget because that person gets along with you. It teaches you in a way that probably other financial channels are not doing it. Maybe Dave Ramsey's not for you, but you pick up another person's channel and they teach it in a way you understand. I know Dave Ramsey's not for everybody, but he is for everybody. So maybe you watch a how-to video on here and you start doing it, and maybe it's a way that you never learned. Someone never taught you this way. Maybe a lot easier than how someone taught you. And you apply it and you teach it maybe to your kids. That's what I'm always learning on here, whether it's budgeting, whether it's self-improvement, personal development, whether it's physical fitness. One thing I started watching was body weight workouts. I Googled calisthenic workouts, how to get more muscles or build muscle using calisthenic workouts. I never knew that was a thing because my body was so much in pain from doing a lot of weights. I wanted to give up on, or not give up, but let go of weights for a bit. And so I pick up calisthenic workouts. Back in my day, what I learned or what I was taught was that you need weights to build muscle. Then I started watching different videos. I picked up different wisdom. I started executing that wisdom. And I learned that you don't always need weights, especially if you're just trying to be healthy. You're just trying to stay in shape. You're not trying to get huge and jacked like a bodybuilder, like a Jay Cutler or a Ronnie Coleman. But what you need is the drive that they had. So I picked this up and I tell people that you don't need weights. You can just do push-ups. Because I don't just listen to these videos and not do anything with them and teach it, but I live it. I do calisthenic workouts. So I don't just teach what I don't know. I study on it. I learn about it. I execute it in my own life. And then I teach other people. There's a meal I like to cook called Turkey Sausage McMuffin Copycat, which is basically the copycat of a sausage McMuffin. And with this, I make it. I learned this from a YouTuber on here. You can check out his channel. His name is Remington James. I learned how to make the turkey sausage McMuffin from him. I cooked it on my own, and I loved it, and I constantly did it. And now I tell people that that's one of my favorite breakfast pre-workout meals to have before I work out. And I execute it. And now I'm telling other people. So I'm passing on that wisdom. I have a pastor who taught me what he did in his budgeting. That he had 3 accounts. One for the church, one for him and his wife's personal checking account and savings account. So when people tithe, they just put into the church account and he gets an allowance from that to live off of every week. And I started executing that. I created a bill account. I had a savings account, a checking account. And I gave myself a weekly allowance of what I can spend. And the rest I just pay my bills, and it handles like a lot of the other stuff. And I put some of it in my savings account. So I executed that, and ever since then, I think it was 2007, 2008, and now I'm still doing the same thing. I might have added more accounts to that, but it still remains the same. I still do the same thing today. So, and I teach other people that you should at least have 3 accounts. So, that's one thing I picked up. But I don't just teach it. I didn't just hear about it, heard the idea, and just said, you should try it. Maybe it'll work. But I executed my life first. So I picked up that wisdom. I heard the wisdom from others. And I execute it in my own life. So now I can pass on that knowledge. That knowledge is something that you can pass on to others. So when you have good wisdom, then you're applying it, you're living it. Pass that knowledge on to someone that it can be used by. I have a lot of friends. Some of them, a lot of them, don't want the knowledge that I have. They don't want to live it. They may say they do, but sometimes, most of the time, they don't. But sometimes there's this one person that you can touch, that one life that you can change forever. And it's all worth it. That one person is all you need. Just like in salvation, I'm a Christian, so I witness to someone, which is telling the gospel of Jesus Christ to them, and they accepted Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior, and they wanted to know more. So with all the wisdom that my spiritual mentors taught me, I pass it on to them. We do Bible studies. So, and I want them to pass it on to other people as well, just like Jesus did with the apostles and the apostles did with their disciples. So it just goes on and on and on. Maybe your kids are teaching their friends what you have taught them. But knowledge is something that just keeps going on and on and on. So keep teaching your kids, but do it in a way that they can understand. Don't just yell at them like they're going to pick it up. Sadly, that's the way I learned the best. When someone does that to me for some reason, maybe it's because my dad taught me that way, but for me, he treated me like maybe a quarterback, a football player, and he was like the coach. You know how nice coaches are in football or sports, how nice they word things to you. That's how my dad is. That's how he spoke to me. Some may call it harsh, but I call it love, because that's the way he speaks a lot of times. And I just want to pick up so much wisdom that I don't even sometimes say anything. And I just listen and pick it up, live it, and try to pass on to other people. So that's the ultimate hope, that we can become wiser, but also help others. Because when you're living it, people will see it and they'll want some of that, and you can teach it to them because they know what you have. You have the goods and they want the goods. So keep teaching it. So when you learn something, apply it in your own life first, then execute it by telling other people about that knowledge. Don't tell them, I don't want you guys to teach it to any other people, because that would not be knowledge. But let them teach it to other people. Let other people have it, so the world becomes a better place. So we have personal development, but that personal development should get out to other people so other people can improve as well. This could be in any part of self-improvement, personal development, or just anything in general. So keep on teaching others. Keep on learning as well. We got to be people that are always willing to learn. Always be a student and a teacher at the same time. Whether you're young or you're seasoned, keep on learning, keep on growing. So you can always be teachable as well as teaching. This is the Frugal Cyborg, and everybody keep on learning, keep on growing,